Sue, with this United team, Ten Hag said when Lizzie spoke to him that he knows the identity of this team. Do you?
I think that's the thing, isn't it? I think that's what we've all been talking about. What is the style of Manchester United? And I know they've won a few games recently, and maybe not the way that they wanted to in terms of performance-wise, but sometimes it is just about winning those games. They have had a lot of injuries. The back four has been, changed multiple times, which is going to be difficult. I think having Luke Shaw back is a huge bonus, because they've been looking to try and fill somebody into that left-back position. So I think from a defensive perspective also, going forward, we know that the quality that Luke Shaw possesses, I think it'll then help the forward players in and around. So he's had things to deal with off the field. He's obviously had injuries to deal with. But we are still waiting to see that style of play on a consistent basis for the whole 90 minutes. We might see it for patches, but can we see it for the whole game? So, yeah, it's about picking up results at the moment and trying to build that style as it goes.
Yeah, no doubt that having Luke Shaw back in brings that leadership quality. There's been chat this week about Rafael Varane and whether there's been a little falling out. He said not so. You have to play players when you can. We don't know if there is any truth in it, but it certainly doesn't create harmony when these stories come out, does it, Michael?
It doesn't seem like there's any harmony at Manchester United at the moment. I mean, what they are doing is they've put themselves in a position from playing pretty poor, not attractive football. And you just mentioned there, Karen, you talk about the identity. What they are doing, they're winning. And they're managing to win, not always in the right way, but the results, the team in form at the moment. I mean, I'm not too sure how this was probably the start of the run they've been on. 2 late goals against Brentford. And what they're doing is they're getting over the line. They're just scraping it. However, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. But you can't continue like that. You really can't. And going to Goodison tomorrow, they're going to have to be a lot better than they were at Fulham. Yes, they get a last-minute goal, a mistake from Fulham. They don't clear the lines, and Bruno does that. So I look how much criticism they had. The 6th, they're only 5 points off Spurs in 4th, and they haven't hit any kind of form, any kind of good play. Yes, they've had injuries, but they keep managing to find a way of winning. But going back to your question there, Varane, I find it really strange. Him and Martinez start the season, number 1 and 2. Then you go Lindelof, Maguire, and Johnny Evans. I now look at him and think, is he 5th choice? All right, Martinez is out, Maguire's come in, Evans played ahead of him, Lindelof last time out against...
Where would you stick him? Where would you say in that order?
Well, I would probably have him 1 or 2 at the start of the season. He did pick up an injury. He played against Copenhagen, and then he didn't play against Manchester City. Was sub against Copenhagen away. Johnny Evans gets injured and he comes on, and it looks like... I just find it all very strange, Caroline. I'm surprised he may go and play tomorrow. Only time will tell, and they'll be sat here going, what are you going on about, Doss? But yeah, it's just strange how you can all of a sudden, when you start the season, Martinez and Varane, then all of a sudden, is something happen? Who knows? There must be something in it, because he would be playing, in my opinion.
When we look at their next fixtures coming up, Tim, when you've got Newcastle in there, Chelsea in there, obviously Galatasaray as well, and then not even putting into that equation Everton and all we've said about where they are at the moment and how that crowd will be. They had to find form by now, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're papering over the cracks here with the results they've been getting. It's not been good enough, and if any Man United fan is happy with what they see, and they'll be lying to you. Yes, George is absolutely right. It's good to get results when you're not playing that well, and hopefully their form can turn around. It did last year. For me, the manager, Ten Hag, doesn't improve any individuals. I don't think he has since he's been at the club. Perhaps Marcus Rashford, you might argue, last year had a rich vein of form, but this year he's gone backwards again. I'm not sure he's improving anyone. You talked about the players who he's brought to the football club and spent an awful amount of money. Sometimes they're not playing, and when they do play, they're not good enough.
So you think a different manager gets more out of that?
Well, he needs to. He needs to get more out of it. I think that he hasn't got the trust of the players. I really do. I don't think the players trust him, and I don't think that maybe the new owners going into the football club will trust him either. Because you have to look at performances. You have to look at results, and the results have not been that bad. But for where Man United should be and want to be, they should be challenging with the amount of money they've spent. And they're not. They're miles away from challenging. They've scraped in the Champions League. They're really struggling as well. I think it's been a poor start to the season, performance-wise. Now, if they can turn that around, their performances can get better, and they can still pick up the results, then, I would hold my hands up and say the man's got it right in the end. But
So
how
what's
much more
success?
money do they need to? And the success for them has to be Champions League, minimum requirement, and get a trophy like they did last year. But everyone wants the same thing. Man City are a machine, you know, and you have to go above them to win any trophies in the domestic league. Football, and I think it's very, very difficult for anyone. Liverpool, Arsenal, Tottenham have improved, so they're up against it. Chelsea at the moment, I mean, they're doing better than what Chelsea are, but no one's talking negatively about Chelsea because you'd actually see an identity of how Pochettino is trying to play there. You can't see that with Ten Hag. We heard about him playing at Ajax and playing out from the back, and it's going to be pretty progressive football. We don't see that. I don't think Dutch football translates to the Premier League. I really don't. And I think he needs to learn that, and he needs to tweak it. And needs to tweak it very quickly. Otherwise, the new owners might go in there, have controlling interests of the football inside, and might want to make a change. I hope they don't, for his sake. I never want to see managers lose their jobs. But at the moment, he's not convincing me, certainly.
Paul, on the subject of all that's happening at Manchester United, do you feel this is a bit of a holding pattern at the moment until the new ownership's all sorted out, or if they just feel like they've been eternally in this holding pattern?
Yeah, I mean, everybody blames everybody else. It's like a blaming game at Man United. You know, the team get beaten and it's everybody else's fault, and the ones there, then it's the players' fault. You know, at the end of the day, the players have got to perform. I don't think they trust the manager. I don't think they trust him, neither. I think the way they play, the confidence is low. Again, I'd be shocked if they won at Everton tomorrow. I really would be shocked. I think Man United are flaky at the moment. Too many players playing not playing well enough. And I think Everton would steamroller them, and I can't see Everton not getting a result. And that just tells you everything about Man United. Could be out the Champions League on Wednesday night or Tuesday night against Galatasaray. Wasn't the hardest group in the world, let's be honest. You know, Bayern Munich run away. You'd expect them to come second. If that doesn't happen, for me, I don't see them getting in the top four this season.